okay, I'm doing 95. I still think 95 looks like a lot of what I've done already, but really it's maybe just it's good to do, of course, to keep doing a few others that I'm trying to find ones that look different. They all look, I think, structurally the same. Um, what do we have here? Your budgeted overheads to be 540,000, no problem. Your budget output is 6,000 using 90,000 labor. So we can find the fixed overhead absorption rate. What are we going to be putting each overhead in at um, for every unit is what we have here. So we have 6,000 units for 90,000 using using I mean, I would just, in fact, I really don't think it matters. I think you can just slash this and just go for units. It's an overhead. You can just argue that the budgeted output is 60,000, the budgeted overhead is 540,000. You could do it. You could find the overhead per hour, but it doesn't really matter. I think stick with the units unless you're forced to use the hours. You see, because I'll show you here. Because here, what you're saying here is that for every unit that you make, you will be putting in, I mean, it's variability. The variability is the same even if you use hours. What you're saying is that you will be using 666, 6 into 54 is 9. You're assigning £90 um, to each unit of fixed overhead. That's what you're saying, right? That's simply it. So when you make 7,000 units, so remember your budgeted overhead is just 540. When you make of seven, everything of course is based on, we only need this just to get this 90. Now we actually have a situation where we actually, and just imagine the accountant putting in um, the overheads with every unit. So he makes 7,000 units, right? And he puts in £90 per unit. That's the budget. That's what he's doing. He's doing it based on units because that's the budget. That's what the budget is saying. So based on units at 90,000, what you have is 7,000 times 90. So he's put in, so far, he's put in 630,000. That's what he's put in into the accounts, right? That's what he's put in. So I'll put the budget here. Um, um, The budget itself is 540,000. That's the point. That was the budget. So he's put in so far 630. So the first step, we have 630,000 here. The first step is to sort of fix that, get rid of that, suck that out. He should have left it alone. So he's going to bring that down from 630 all the way down to 540. And the process of bringing that down, you will, if you like, absolve the accounts or reduce the expense that you currently have in the accounts of 90,000. You're going to bring it down by 90,000. So the volume variance is 90,000 favorable. That's the first thing. Now we have in the accounts just 540. Remember, this is what you've done. You've done your journal. Debit fixed overheads, 630,000. Credit fixed overheads accrual, 630,000. We've overabsorbed. We then bring it, we now release 90,000 from here, 90,000 from here. We're back at 540. This is your volume variance. Now we now ask, well, what was the actual overhead? The actual overhead was 600. So the actual overhead itself, I'll just change my pen color, was 600. So we can now, this is almost the real variance. If you have left things alone, all you would have been doing was comparing what the budget was with the with what actually happened. Remember, fixed overheads are not variable. They have no business being played around with. I mean, I suppose there are arguments of capacity and knowing how well you use space and things like that. But really and truly, it is a fixed overhead. It's a period cost. So really and truly, now you have this 60,000 adverse variance. So 60,000 is your adverse variance. That's the real variance. And we call that variance the expenditure variance. So overall, you'd have had something like this. You've put into the account 600. What actually happened is 30. So you'd have said, oh, 30,000 advance. Well, which is the same difference between these. 30,000 favorable. Sorry, forgive me, because um, actual was, no, sorry, it should be, let me just look at that very carefully again. So we bring that down favorable to 500, and yeah, you should have um, your accounts would have been showing sorry, so you have put that, you've put in 600, and you would have had um, your accounts actual overheads. Why have I got 600? Yes, the actual overheads are 600,000. Um, your accounts are showing 630,000. Yes, and you would have said, oh, we have a um, £30,000 favorable variance. That's what you'd have done. You just have said, how did I get a £30,000 favorable variance? How did I go from 630 to 600? I'm telling you how we got there. This is your budget. You then flexed it and did everything to it, and then you have 630. So I'm telling you, fix this first, bring it back down to 540, and then compare that with the 600,000. So these are your answers. Hopefully that helps with that.